Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Gridfinder. It's round 4 of the championship, which means it's our 4th different car track combination of the season. This weekend, it is the turn of the bike sports around Oulton Park, and we see if anybody can stop Trafford King in his run of 6 consecutive race wins. My name is Chris Stevens. Alongside me, Chris Buxton. Chris, I'm very excited to see what happens tonight. Very interesting car track combo we have.
You and me both, yes. I love Oulton Park. It is such an amazing circuit. I haven't driven it in real life. I haven't even driven it in its sim racing guise. But it is such a wonderful circuit. Very, very technical, very difficult circuit to get right. But when you do, it is magnificent. It's such a great feeling. But yes, who can stop Trafford King? Well, the only person so far has been Trafford King that's stopped him. But anything is possible. Very different type of car we have. Again, as we had Cadwell last time out, so that's quite a twisty circuit. But I mean, we've been to Croft and we've been to Silverstone previously, so very, very different types of circuit, very different types of car. Perhaps this will be the Achilles heel of young Mr. King. We will see, but judging by qualifying, not so far. But it's good to see. We've got John Power right up next to him. This was a battle I really looked forward to last time. Sadly, we didn't quite get to see that really play up. It was Thruxton, not Cadwell. It was supposed to be Cadwell. It was we had to change it to Thruxton, didn't we? Last time out. So yeah, Thruxton, lots of right foot going on. One of the fastest circuits in the UK. Don't think you can quite say that about Oulton Park. Lots of twisty bits, lots of really technical sections where you've got to get the car set up just right to really get the most out of this circuit. And like you say, Chris, what a curious kind of car that we have this time. It's very, very different. Quite a downforce driven car. And they're really going to need it. They're going to need a very stable setup here to get the best out of Oulton Park.
Yes, absolutely. The bike sports are very popular in the real world 750 Motor Club series. The bike sports being a sort of baby sports car powered by motorbike engine. So you can have any naturally aspirated series production 4-stroke motorcycle engine, and the chassis is usually provided by the likes of Radical, Spire, but we do get some own built cars in the real life series as well. And in 2024 they'll be enjoying 18% more track time with a 15-minute qualifying session and 2 25-minute races, and that includes a reverse grid sprint and a sort of feature second race as well that has a mandatory pit stop in it. None of that to worry about though in the Sim Championship. It's the same format that we've been running all season long. We will have 3 15-minute races. The first race grid set by qualifying, and that will be Trafford King on pole position once again, maintaining his 100% record in the season so far. In fact, let's take a look at the grid. So for the 4th consecutive time, it is Trafford King on pole position. John Power will be starting alongside him. Seems to be one of the few drivers that can match Trafford King on raw pace at the moment. Colin Cunniff starts in 3rd. So the top 3 in the championship, line astern on the grid. Adam Parsonage right up there in 4th place as well. Harvey Pullinger and Finley Tidmarsh on the 3rd row of the grid. Then Tom O'Farrell, a guest driver for this weekend, so he's not scoring points. And then James Madden joins him on the 4th row of the grid. Dan Jude and Steve Bentley complete the top 10. Then comes Ben Goodwin and Alex Hurren on the 6th row of the grid. Mark Crawford and Jensen Swift on row 7. Andrew Cooper and Will Hartley on row 8. And then we have Francis Twyman and Alex Forster on row 9, Keith Whitby and Peter Cornelius. That's the top 20. That's where points will be scored down to. Steve Boother and Pete Belsey on the 11th row of the grid. Daniel Marshall and Max Spooner on row 12. David Hudson and Andy Woodvine. Dave Heisman, Paul Jarvis, and then 2 reserve drivers joining us at the back of the grid. That's Jonathan Leeson and Jamie Peters-Ennis. And Chris, just looking at the championship standings as well, we said the top 3 in the standings, as we had at Thruxton as well. A lot of the key contenders starting right up at the front of the field. I think the difference this time, though, is that John Power is going to be starting right up at the front of the field, where, of course, at Thruxton, he didn't get to qualify, and so he had to start the first race from the back of the grid, work his way up into the top 10, benefit from the reverse grid to get himself back up at the front of the field. And we did see them briefly go toe-to-toe, John Power and Trafford King, in the 3rd and final race, but he made a mistake in that final race, and that allowed Trafford King a slightly easier result. So maybe today is the day where we could finally see them both going absolutely hammer and tongs together.
I certainly hope so, because John Power, the greater the adversity, the better the result. It's incredible what we saw John do last time out at Thruxton. Absolutely superb. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, that's put him right into right into championship contention at the top, which obviously, as we said, Traffic King still has a bit of a stranglehold on it, but it's not an insurmountable amount. 18 points difference between Traffic King and Colin Cunniff at the moment. And that is mainly down to consistency from those that are chasing the DH Racing Traffic King at the moment. Colin Cunniff has been on the podium numerous times throughout the season. John Power also has a win to his name, as does Colin Cunniff, the only two drivers other than Traffic King to get wins in this series. But they're not too far further behind them. Harvey Pullinger, so has seen the podium once before, but lots of good results between then and now.
Absolutely. So before we go to the grid for the first time tonight, we'll take a very quick break for our sponsors. Pedal and wheel combo where £500 is the top prize that the guys are fighting for in this championship. Currently it would go the way of Traffic King as he leads the point standings by 18, almost a full win's worth going into this first race of the night. We see him in the green and white car, John Power in the yellow and white car alongside him. All the lights are on. We're about to get underway for round 4 of the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Gridfinder. It's a very nice start by Traffic King from pole position. John Power looks to the inside but has his nose chopped off at Old Hall Corner for the first time. A couple of cars having to take to the grass on the exit, and one car went spinning on the exit, and a few not quite making it through unscathed as the sparks fly from underneath the radicals as they make their way through Cascades for the first time. But crucially, it is Traffic King, pole sitter, away very well. John Power and Connor Cunniff in the purple car close behind.
Wow, it's a storming start from those at top. That's very deep from Adam Parsonage coming into Shelley's corner. Has he left the door open? No, not quite. He's decided to take a high line. He's flirting with the grass by doing that, but Power on the heels of Traffic King with Colin Cunniff in hot pursuit. A little bit further back, Max Spooner with the Pete Belsey right ahead of him. A little bit of a gap, as you can see, between themselves and Crawford just working their way through what is the Britain chicane. You want to straight line that as much as you can, but those bollards are absolutely lethal. As that's Steve Bentley that has come to grief. That's just after the Britain chicane indeed. So whether there was contact we didn't see, he's now got himself going again, but now some distance behind.
Leaders making their way through Drurid's Corner for the first time, and Traffic King, his advantage already a full second as he makes his way under the Warwick Bridge for the first time and towards Lodge Corner. Remember, it's 3 15-minute encounters as we look at Finley Tidmarsh here, looking at the back of Adam Parsonage, who had that wide moment going into the very steeply banked hairpin earlier on in the lap, but he wasn't able to take advantage of it in that all-yellow car, tracing the green and yellow car of Adam Parsonage in front of him through Old Hall Corner for the second time of asking. So no changes in the top 4. But Finley Tidmarsh was able to make up a place on that first lap. He started 6th. He's now in 5th. And looks like it was Harvey Pullinger, actually, who might have been the car that came to grief at the exit of Old Hall for the first time of asking, because he started 5th and he is down in 22nd at the moment. And Tidmarsh has gone through on Parsonage. Sorry, cut over you there, Crispin.
No, not at all, not at all. Well, that will be a problem from Adam Parsonage. And look at the gap back between Tidmarsh and Parsonage. So he must have made a mistake somewhere in Shellow's corner that has set him down. And that's actually James Madden, that has just lost the position. It doesn't help that there are a lot of cars with a similar colour, but that is the nature of the beast. I love that green and yellow colour scheme we're seeing from James Madden and also Adam Parsonage just up above. Now people getting into the swing of things a little bit, beginning to rely on the car, which can be a little bit difficult. They feel quite clumsy at slower speeds, these bike sport cars. But when they are up to speed, the aerodynamics, which is obviously exactly how the body is designed, is really coming good. But you've got to then rely on it, which you can't do in the slower bits, and you need to in the faster bits. But once again, exactly as you say, Chris, Traffic King just stretching his legs up front. You can see when the tower goes purple like that, that is people setting their personal best, which of course now we are properly getting these cars up and running in anger. So Traffic King leading the way, John Power second, Colin Cunniff rounding up the top three.
Very nice start indeed. Finley Tidmarsh, having taken that fourth place, is now setting his sights on the last spot on the podium, as he's only 3/4 of a second away from Colin Cunniff. As we look at this battle a little bit further back, Dan Jude, who started inside the top 10, down in 16th place here in that silver and red car. So a very difficult start to the race for him. But if he can work his way back into the top 10, then he would be benefiting from the reverse grid, as we've got an onboard with Keith Whitby, who's the orange car just beside him. And on the inside here is Dan Jude, making a lovely move there on Pete Belsey through the Shell Oils hairpin. And by the time they get to Britain's, he's pulled the car length on the car behind. So that is Dan Jude now up into 14th place. And we might have lost the car in front of them as well, because I could have sworn he was in 16th place just a moment ago. But lovely on board we got to see there from Keith Whitby on the split screen. He's looking at the back of Belsey as well for 15th place, as Dan Jude here makes his way through Knickerbroken into one of my favourite corners in the whole of the UK, really. Jensen Swift here making a move on the that's Jensen Swift getting passed, by Jamie Peters-Ennis, who, remember, was a guest driver, didn't get to qualify, so he started 30th and last. We've got capacity grids all the way through this season, in fact. And just looking at the timing tower on the left-hand side, it looks like James Madden has had drama or some sort of excursion on this lap, because he's dropped now to 10th place. So Tom O'Farrell and Alex Forster have both made their way through. That's 8th, 9th and 10th.
I think the car you were expecting to be in that top section whilst you were talking there was actually Jamie Peters-Ennis, and he'd made his way all the way up to 14th. He'd had a storming start in the first few laps, but sadly has had an incident that has put him down into 25th position. We now watch Daniel Marshall in his four-way battle with Pete Belsey, Keith Whitby, and right behind him Ben Goodwin, just coming through towards Shell Isle corner. You heard Daniel there just having to left out on the throttle. He had I'd say too much pace, more momentum than he could realistically use as the tail has let go. Now, easily done. They do have a lot of torque, these bike engine cars, but obviously we couldn't see if there was a little bit of impact between himself and Ben Goodwin. But either way, that has cost in that position. Daniel Marsh just going to have to regain that momentum and put that attack on all over again.
Certainly will. This is the battle for second place that is closing up nicely. So we talked about Adam Parsonage and Finley Tidmarsh maybe closing up on Colin Cunniff. That gap has very much extended as we're approaching half-race distance now, with 8.5 minutes left on the clock. Traffic King, unsurprisingly, setting the fastest lap of the race. There's an extra bonus point for that, remember. But for second place, it is not decided. Only 3/4 of a second separate the yellow and white car of John Power, who's one of only two drivers to have beaten Traffic King to a win so far this season, and Colin Cunniff in the purple and white car is the other one. They shared honours at the opening round of the season in races 2 and 3 at Silverstone back in the MR2s. Since then, it has been Traffic King always. Keith Whitby has a big moment on the exit of Old Hall, and coming under big pressure now on the grass on the way into Cascades was Dan Marshall.
Or that it was one-man conga line going on there for Daniel Marshall, but Manages to get it back collected again. Here we have Alex Hurren on the back of Finley Tidmarsh. We saw Finley closer to the top of the top 5 earlier on, but now finds himself in a battle with Alex Hurren. Oh, that didn't look comfortable there for Finley Tidmarsh's car, not wanting to turn in. A little bit of understeer, just washed out there, coming through Hislop, now through Knickerbrook, up and over Clay Hill. I know exactly what you mean by that being a fantastic sequence of corners. Absolutely superb. Past Water Tower into Druids. Again, just getting the car to stick. You see Alex Hurren taking a bit more of a cautious line there through Druids. Not quite as much at ease with the car as Finley was at that particular point, so that's cost him about 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Through Lodge Corner, very easy to overcook that and end up into the grass. You lose so much momentum through Deer Leap and over the line once again. And now Alex Hurren's actually caught back up with Finley Tidmarsh. So these two drivers comfortable in different parts of the circuit, but keeping themselves in touch with that battle for 5th place.
Yeah, fifth and sixth being disputed there. Rather unenviable position here of commentating on 2 all-yellow cars with drivers wearing yellow helmets. So luckily we've still got this battle for 2nd place brewing here as Colin Cunniff looks for a way past John Power. Remember John Power, the racer in his 60s, the former rally driver and Formula Ford racer back in the day. 2 races under his belt in the Alfa Romeo Championship in 2021, and has a lot of on-off experience with Grand Prix 2.